Hello, everyone. It's Helen here with Helen with Helen. Thanks for joining me. I recently read a book on an article that was written on what would be considered the wealthiest places in the world. Would it be gold mines, diamond mines, oil fields? And what they came to find out was the wealthiest places in the world would be cemeteries, because this is where dreams never were fulfilled. This is where dreams died and dreams perished. And so books were never written, movies were never made, songs were never composed, businesses were never formed. So this is where the true riches, the true valuables truly are. And I started to think, why would we not accomplish our dreams that we had for ourselves, our visions, our goals? And I believe the main reason is because of fear of failure. We all fear failure. But what we don't recognize is that fear, failure, and success all go hand in hand, because you can't have success without failure. This is how you know what works and what doesn't work. But so often we don't do it because we're so afraid of the outcome or what people may think. I started thinking about some of my own successes and failures, and they definitely go hand in hand. And one of the ones that came to my mind for me is college, because I had went to college for 3 years right out of high school. Yes, 3 years for a 2-year associate degree. And I still hadn't graduated yet. And I was hanging on to just a few little credits. And I went to my parents and I said, I'm going to be a flight attendant. And they're like, what? I'm like, yep, I'm going to scrap school, the student loans, all the money, all the time invested, and I'm going to go fly the world. See ya. That's pretty much how it went. Do I regret it? No. However, later on in life, after I was finished flying, I had made a goal for myself that one day I was going to finish college. No matter how long it took, no matter when it was, I had a vision and I had a goal. But there was only one problem. I was fearing failure, because those last remaining credits were actually math credits. And if anybody knows me, I do not have a math brain. So I couldn't even count how many times I had dropped algebra, pre-algebra, problem solving every semester. It was like drop, drop, drop. I was probably the first one in the office to take it off of my schedule so that I wouldn't have to worry about it, because I had a fear of failure and I knew that I wasn't good with numbers. So here I was ready to graduate from college, but the only thing holding me back was algebra, pre-algebra, problem solving. But I had a vision and I had a goal, and I'm like, I'm going to do it this time. I don't care how old I am. I was a mother. So at this point, I had my hands full. I was like, again, a little bit older, but I was like, I'm going back to school and I'm going to do this. So I remember going back and registering. I remember my first day back on campus, because I was like, nope, I want to go, especially for my pre-algebra. I have to be in a classroom setting. I have to be there with what's going on. Well, all the people going in front of me were at least several years younger than me. And so already it was humbling. It was humbling because the only time I could go was during the morning classes. I wasn't hiding out in the night classes. And I remember going in to the building that day and I told myself, I don't care what it takes, no matter how long it takes, I'm going to graduate from college this time. And I pictured myself with a cap and a gown and the whole thing. And I'm like, it's going to happen. And I remember that feeling in my gut. I remember telling myself that this is the time I'm going to do it. Well, guess what, guys? I did it, because having that vision and having those goals, it's amazing what God won't do for you if you will just take that step forward. Because by God, it is by the grace of God that I passed algebra and problem solving. So anyways, I'm happy to let you know that I officially got a C that semester. And then I ended up eventually getting an A in problem solving, which was unheard of. And I didn't cheat either. I didn't cheat. I had to work really, really hard. I have a little quote on a lot of my things, and it says, the dreams are free, but the hustle sold separately. If you have dreams, visions, goals, guess what? You're going to have to hustle. It's just part of it. But what is okay is you can trip, you can fall, you can quit for a second if you need to, like I did, and I went and flew the world, but you get back up and you get back in the game and you finish it. And I've had so many different times in my life where it's just like, if I could envision it, it came to pass. And the same thing with even when I was a flight attendant. I wanted to be one so bad since the time I was little, and I got handed those little wings on the airplane. I'm like, I'm going to do it. I would set up chairs downstairs. I would play flight attendant. I would hand out juice boxes. I had a vision. I had a goal. I was going to do it. I had an aunt. She was a flight attendant. I would sit there listening to her stories. And I was like, oh yeah, this is going to happen. So the minute I turned 21, guess what? I went and did it because I had a vision in my head, and college just happened to take me a little longer. So that had to go on the back burner for a second. But then again, I finished it. And I remember walking on the treadmill, watching country videos. I know that this is funny, but it's true. And I was like, I would picture myself like passing out goodies on the airplane and what it was going to be like when I was on the speaker. I had a vision in my head and I brought it to pass. And so anytime you do that, I am living proof it works. It genuinely works. Same with the coffee shop. Long before I ever owned coffee shops, I had a sketchbook. I would draw them out. This is what I want the colors of it to look like. This is what I want the logo to look like. This is what my menu boards are going to look like. I would write it out and I would have it color coded in a book so that one day when that would come to pass, it would be right there. And guess what? It happened. So I do believe it. But if we can overcome the fear of failure and looking silly and looking stupid, and we can just humble ourselves and say, it's okay. This is the only way I'm ever going to get to where I want to be. And I'm in the process of it right now, like right as we speak. I'm in another one of those I had a vision moment. Guess what? I wanted to be a life coach. I wanted to have a YouTube channel. I wanted to write a book and have all of these things. Guess what, guys? It's not booming yet. It's not. I wish I could tell you it was, but right now we're in the process of where God is teaching me to get back up and to take another step and to get back up and take another step. And I'm like, did I hear you right? Are you sure? I remember praying about this down at the coffee shop, that this was going to be my next vision. This is what I wanted next. But right now it's still kind of fuzzy. But guess what? I am getting up and taking that leap of faith, which you have to do. That is the only way to do it. It's not going to happen just for you. I think we all just want it to just pop up in our laps and it's like, there it is. But that's not realistic, right? It always starts with a dream. It always starts with you, and it starts with me. And so even right now, I'm somebody where, let's put it this way. I have like some social media accounts and I have some different things, and I'm working really, really hard on some different things. And then after I'm finished, I put it out there and I'm all excited and I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to see, is this going to encourage someone? Is this going to motivate someone? Is this going to help somebody? And then I'll get like a like one, like one. And I'm like, oh, okay. And usually it's from a family member or a friend. And I'm like, wow, thank you. But then you'll see that maybe 60 people, 100, maybe even more than that have looked at it. They've viewed it. And so then you're like, God, did I hear you right? Am I doing the right thing? But guess what? If he gave you the dream and you have the vision and you have the goals, you just get up and you keep doing your part, because he also put on my heart about a year ago that was like, even if it's for one, are you going to do it, Helen? Even if it's just for one person, if you can help one person. And you know what? I can say that I'm at least helping one person on this channel right now, because I have people reach out to me on acid reflux on a pretty regular basis. And so I'm like, okay, even if it was just for the one or for the two, if I can help someone, if I can encourage somebody, if I can give them any bit of knowledge that I possibly have, then it's worth it. And so whatever your dreams are, I believe if you take those steps forward, it's going to be worth it for somebody. You, obviously for God, and then for somebody else. It will make a difference, and probably in many people's lives. But we have to take that step forward. We have to take that leap of faith. And like I said, without dreams, you perish. The Bible actually tells you that. Some people think it's like, oh, a dreamer. Well, it's just like, no, if you don't have dreams, if you don't have visions, you don't have goals, you actually perish. It's biblical. And so God wants us to have dreams. He wants us to believe and go big and believe for big things. Believe for the things that only you can accomplish with his help. He absolutely thrives in those areas where you're like, there is no way possible. Me with algebra, me with problem solving. I was like, there is no way I'm never going to pass it. Well, guess what? With God, all things are possible. And it's true. And I would have never imagined doing half of the things that I've done in the past. And I'm just like, wow, that was so much bigger than me. So you know that God's hand was on it, but that is where he specializes and that is where he thrives. And so for you this week and for me, because I'm going to continue on because I have a long way to go, obviously. We're going to start with goals. Like, okay, I'm going to write down all of my goals right here, right now, in the moment, some things that I want to accomplish. And I'm going to start taking steps toward it. It could take me 1 year. It could take me 3 years. Give yourself a timeline because that's what goals are. You are giving yourself a timeline, but also give yourself grace just in case it takes you a little bit longer, or maybe God comes up with a different plan along the way for a second and then gets you back to where he wants you to be. You have to be flexible within that, especially when it comes to God. But I do believe that goals and a timeline will help you to achieve that. Like, okay, I want to write a book within a year. I want to lose weight within 6 months. I want to, whatever your goals are. So you need to write it down like, okay, these are my goals. This is my vision, and this is what I'm going to do. And then you just take those steps forward one day at a time. And I'm telling you, do not ever underestimate a to-do list, okay? A goal list. That thing right there will keep you in line, keep you in check. And I know that firsthand because I'm a to-do list person, kind of got off it for a second. And now that I don't have like a set schedule down at my coffee shop and stuff, it's like, whoa, it is critical for you to have that because guess what? Your time can get taken from everyone and everything. As we all know, there are a lot of distractions in the world. The thing you have to ask yourself, what is the most important? Because you can't do everything, nor does God want you to do everything. So you have to take an inventory in this part of your life, sorry, tongue-tied, that right now in this moment, you need to take an inventory and say, okay, this is what is most important to me. And then you start to write those things down and you start to live it out because you're not going to be able to do everything. So that way you have to do what is absolutely the most important to you while you have time here on earth. So anyways, guys, I hope that helps. Let me know what your goals are and let me know kind of what you're planning on, and I'll let you know what I'm planning on. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.